But the Eagle offense was dressed up and ready to go. A 38 spot. Jalen Hurts played well. A.J. Brown, everything he was advertised to be when he got a $100 million contract. And then there was the defense. So we're going to break both sides down. The bottom line is the Eagles won. And a good Monday morning, Eagles fans. It is an undefeated Monday because the Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated. They're 1-0, and there's a lot to break down from yesterday's win against the Detroit Lions in Motown. And here to help me do it is Barrett Brooks. So,
are you going to smile about it, Jody? Are you going to smile about the win, or are we just going to go right into bitching?
No, I'm gonna do a little bit of both because that's exactly what that game was yesterday. Barrett Brooks is here with me today. John McMullen in transit, coming back from Motown out there, covering it for us and Sports Illustrated and everybody else. So Barrett was good enough to get up early for me when I asked our associate producer Xander to see if he can get me a good Eagle guy on to fill in for Johnny Mack. I suggested Barrett Brooks, and damn, he's here with us.
Well, man, I got up. I even got up a little early. Got up at 6:30 so I could work out. Out this morning. Xander called me at he called me what is 7:35. Hey, you up, man? Of course I'm up, man. I got to be up for Jody now. Jody asked, he has to receive, so I got up. Even put on a college shirt for you. And it was a polo, but it's still a college shirt.
You look good, my friend. Yeah, you're ready to rock, as am I. We both got the golf shirt on.
Yes, sir.
But the Eagle offense was dressed up and ready to go. A 38 spot. Jalen Hurts played well. A.J. Brown, everything he was advertised to be when he got a $100 million contract. And then there was the defense. So we're going to break both sides down. The bottom line is the Eagles won. I thought they would win handily. I didn't see the defense being as inept as it was. I thought it would be a walk in the park in Detroit. It was anything but. But a win is a win is a win is a win. And that's what everybody said after the game yesterday. Barrett, more the offensive guys saying that than the defensive guys. Defensive guys maybe a little bit in hiding. 38-35. What is your take about the 1-0 Eagles?
It depends on where you want me to go with it, Joey. I mean,
you go wherever you want.
Well, I mean, I thought the team as a whole played well. You look at the offensive line, I thought that they were put in some tough positions. I thought they came through, scored when they needed to score, moved the crowd when they needed to move it. You know, they needed first down, run in behind them. And even on that last, that 4th and 1 or less than 1, man, I don't think this game from a officiating perspective was called good. You know, they were clearly all out of, off sides on that play. I mean, they were touching each other on the helmet. That's how close they were on the line of scrimmage. They were touching each other, and there was no call for that. I thought that, when you look at Jalen Hurts, a lot of extra hitting, a lot of extra punishment he took, even when sliding. I thought that was some BS. But the team as a whole, I thought they played well. Even defensively, I thought they played well at times defensively also.
Really?
Yes, I thought Gannon.
Could you enlighten me on those plays?
Well, defensively,
they were few and far between. Yes, the pick six was great because here White tips it up, Bradbury grabs it, takes it to the house. But other than that, they not enough resistance on the first drive right down the field. Billy Kidd running to him like they're paper mache.
Jody, we got to keep people off the bridge. Stay away from Ben Franklin. Don't go over there because when you look at the defense, they blitzed a lot more. They're a lot more sound there. But what you can take from this is our big guys up front need to come to work next time.
Yeah.
For the majority of the game, not just in spurts. From a secondary and linebacker level 2, I thought those guys played great. But I just didn't see enough from the big guys up front. I thought I was going to see a little more pass rush from the guys in the middle, even though Fletcher Cox and I didn't think Hargrave was necessarily being an impact out there. No. That's not the Hargrave I'm used to seeing. Fletcher came to play. Fletcher was one-on-one. He was beating the guy, getting pressure back, but there were no pressure on the outside. And to be honest with you, those are 2 really good tackles. Penei Sewell and Decker, both of them first rounders. Both of them can play the game. Sometimes you just get an even matchup between the two guys going against each other. And I think that's along the lines of what happened. they went up against two really good offensive tackles in Tyler Decker and Penei Sewell and couldn't create enough pressure on them. I think that was the biggest thing that was very evident. I need more from the guys outside. Brandon Graham, I didn't see enough out of him, but even though he was going hard, BG didn't get the pressure I thought he was going to get. My guy Sweat, I thought he was going to be all world. He had 2 sacks last year against him. He didn't get the pressure. He didn't get a sack. Neither one of those of our defensive ends sniffed the quarterback. They weren't even around him. So that's where I have the most cause to pause on the defense. The lack of pass rush by the big guys up front. They're usually the strength of our team. They weren't the strength in pass rushing this time. I thought that Jared Goff was comfortable back there, and I think it's more so because the two guys, Tyler Decker and Penei Sewell, had phenomenal games. They played up to what you would think out of two guys who was drafted in the first round, who were supposed to be bookends, and they were definitely bookends.
I will not knock the Lions' offensive line. Knew coming in they had a good offensive line, but as you mentioned, most of those guys were there last year when the Eagles ran rampant over the Lions. So maybe they're improved. Ragnow came into the game supposed to be hurt at center. Didn't look like he was hurt or played hurt to me. Looked pretty damn dominant. Again,
they might have pulled the wool over our eyes a little bit, Jody.
On the whole Ragnow not being 100% thing, maybe. Because you said Fletcher played well. Fletcher played the best of the defensive tackles.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
But yes, it doesn't make it great because Hargrave to me was missing in action.
Yes.
And the big guy who we've been sold a lot of promise on, Jordan Davis, because he's as big as he is and athletic as he is, all that is great. It needs to turn itself into plays being made on the field. Now, they didn't use him as much as I thought they were going to. We knew he was going to be a situational substitution guy to start. He wasn't on the field as often as I thought he would be, or I would have liked to see him. But he really made one play in the entire game. He kind of went down the line, played well, and was able to get in on a tackle. He created no pass rush in the middle, and that wasn't his forte at Georgia, but he didn't give him any extra push in the middle on passing plays when he was in there on the few plays where they passed while he was still on the field. And Hassan Reddick, wait, did they pay him a whole lot of money to come in here and get to the quarterback this offseason?
Absolutely.
Jared?
Yes,
I didn't see too many times when he was in Jared Goff's face.
No.
Their defensive line was a complete no-show yesterday.
Yeah, and like I said, and they tried to put him in different places. I saw him rush from linebacker level. I saw him rush from the outside. I didn't see any production out of him either. But that might just go with how good that offensive line was with Detroit. I said going in that they would have a pretty promising offensive line, even though those were the same guys that were there last year. Pretty promising. In fact, I thought they were a little weaker because they didn't have Big V there to start.
Right.
So, but I mean, the kid that went in there actually played okay. I knew Jonah Jackson was as advertised. He's good. Their left guard, he's good. Tyler Decker's good. But, Kramer, no. Stenberg, no. Those guys aren't good at the left guard position. So it should have been more of a day for Fletcher Cox. And when you look at our defensive line, you didn't see guys we thought we were going to see. Hargrave was missing in action. And that's the problem because I expected him to be one of the dominant guys at the defensive line this year. I thought he was going to be a dominant force. And that's only because I've seen him be that guy. This is early in the year. He usually fades towards the end of the year. Well, this time he didn't show up this game. Is it a possibility that the offensive line is better than what we thought they were? Yeah, that could be the case. But that's still the same team I saw on Hard Knocks. I mean, they were a sieve in Hard Knocks. They were giving up everything in Hard Knocks. They came to play this time. They came to play. Maybe
we'll find out more about this today, but as far as and you can read in too much with this, but I don't believe that's the case here. We knew the Eagles were going to use a rotating bunch of guys on the defensive line, specifically in the middle. Guys like Williams going to be able to move in and out, play both inside and out. He ended up playing 33 snaps. Marlon Tuipulotu played 29.
Yeah.
He played 29 snaps. Jordan Davis played 22 snaps. How does guys who we weren't even sure were going to make the team end up playing more snaps than David? Do they have a specific package involved with him that he's only going to play? Again, maybe I set my sights too high. I know John set his too high because he thought he was going to revolutionize the position. First game of the year, he played less than 40% of the snaps. Did we put too much pressure on this young man and set expectations too high for him?
We absolutely – I don't think we set him too high. This is just his introduction into playing full-speed football. This was a game-type situation. This is where it gets amped up from the preseason to the regular season by 20%. And with him not playing a lot in the preseason, my expectation was I knew that this defense, I knew that this team, period, would not be up to par when it becomes to when the lights turn on. I knew they would be behind the buck against this Lions team because they hadn't done enough in the preseason to prepare their bodies going into the regular season. Jody Mack, this is exactly why you have your guys play during the preseason, just so they can get used to the game. You can't get in shape with football unless you play football. You can come in and run the shape all you want to, but when it comes to the dynamics of hitting somebody, pushing somebody, running and tackling people, finishing plays, you just don't do it unless you do it on the field. And that's the problem. It's like when you're out there in practice and you're practicing your guys, it's almost like 1-2 cha-cha-cha. Get to your point, get to your leverage point, and then basically it's over with. You don't have to go out there as an offensive lineman and finish the play. You're not finishing the play to the guy to the ground. When you're an offensive lineman, you hit a guy. That's when the play starts, is when you hit him. Then you have to finish him. You got to gain leverage on him, get to where you need to go, so where the ball is going. Then you have to finish the play or maybe flat back him or something like that. If you don't train your body to do that, it's going to take you a while to get in shape in doing that. And that's another thing that I saw that was key to me in the second half, that this team isn't really in football shape. They might be in shape as far as running. They might be in shape as far as being in lowers, but they're definitely not in shape to go through the whole game, full speed, lights out, total effort right now. They're just not ready yet.
And Barrett, that's why the game was so difficult to digest. Yes. You're right. Defensively, I've been, if you watch the show at all, certainly Johnny Mac knows, and all our streamers know, I've been complaining, I've been whining, I've been moaning about how can you get ready for a season when you've only got such a short amount of time to practice to begin with, because they've collectively bargained it all away, and you're not even going to take it all. You're going to go this many days, no pads whatsoever,
right?
Walk through after walk through after walk. You're not going to walk in a game on Sunday. What are you walking through on practice for? So I had my issues with the way the Eagles did it. Now, they get the game one. They're very healthy. Andre Dillard, only injury. Everybody else 100% healthy. So they can say, hey, see, it worked. Except they went out and they couldn't tackle air yesterday.
That's the problem, Jody. That's what you saw. Guys weren't finishing play, trying to run through guys. Swift, he ran roughshod over us. And that's simply because they were able to maximize their camp and play more physical football than the Eagles, because they were more physical in camp. They were more physical in how they approached this season. Dan Campbell had his guys ready to play. Eventually, athleticism took over because the Eagles have better athletes and a better team than Detroit. But if you go and when you watch film, you're going to see it's evident that they need to do a little more as far as, they know the pace of the game now. So guys like Kelsey and all those guys, they'll be ready to play, from this point forward. But this is their first initial contact, full speed, and how it's going to be for the rest of the season. It kind of took them off guard. It might have put Davis in a position like, wow, they really do go. Now he sees what he has to do to amp it up. There'll be a couple of extra guys running after practice from this point on. Rest assured of that. Knowing that they're not really where they need to be going into this season. You need to go out there and practice in order to – and I kept telling people, I'm not a big fan of not going in and really getting your body ready to play. I mean, I love that they go in healthy, but those, hour periods and hour and a half periods, practices that they have, they maximize them as far as getting in the work, but they're not maximizing the physicality of what they're going to face on Sunday. And that's the difference between what you saw from Detroit and what you're going to see this Monday. When you see this Monday, this is going to be a game. We're talking about a team they just beat. Didn't they just beat Green Bay? I think they beat Green Bay.
Yeah, Vikings look very good offensively.
Very
yesterday.
good.
That
Very
Jefferson
good.
guy who could have been here in Philadelphia balled out yesterday again against the Packers. And yeah, the Eagles defense will be tested again here in week number 2. And that's the one thing that makes it so frustrating, B. You and I feel the same. The Eagles were not physically prepared for this first game.
No.
On the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, they look great. They look like prepped, ready to go, all in sync. A.J. Brown, perfect fit. He and Jalen on the same page. Jalen running like a maniac back there, making plays with his leg, which, oh, by the way, I was worried about, that they were going to be so pass-heavy and oriented that they were going to lose that offensive weapon that they have, and that's Jalen Hurts with his legs, and that was not the case at all. Jalen was ready, willing, and able to take off and make big plays with his legs. So that's why it was so confounding a day. The defense looked like they were not prepared, not ready, not a full go to get the season underway.
Right.
The offense looked great.
Well, I'm saying that the offense also looked a little tired. I mean, because they scored a lot of points, does not, they're not.
When they get up to speed, they're going to score more than 38 points.
Well, the offensive line, you could tell that they weren't finishing the way I've seen them finish also. Okay. So it's not just the defense that you got to look, like even the offensive line. I mean, I didn't see them running down and finishing plays like I usually. Just watch how they, watch how the games they played last year, and then look at the film of this year. I know a lot of people on the stream have Game Pass. Watch how they look. When I say finishing plays and being in shape, I mean after a block, they go downfield and start picking guys off. They did that a lot last year. You didn't see that a lot in this game, and that's because their bodies aren't ready to do that. Their bodies are still tired, and they're not going out and finishing plays like they used to. Finishing plays meaning running down, getting that extra block, doing a little extra, putting guys on their back. You didn't see a lot of that, and that's how you tell an offensive line if the offensive line is in shape or not. You start seeing little things as far as the finishing, and I didn't see that either. So, I mean, it's not just the defensive line and the defense, it's the offense also. They need to get in a little better shape too. They need to finish plays out a little more too.
Man, you're tougher than me. I give the offense passing grades across the board.
Well, yeah, you're going to give it to them, but just the little things you can see. Watch it. I mean, when I say finish plays, I mean finishing plays down the field. There was a lot of the times when you saw offensive linemen picking up receivers that had just been tackled. You didn't see a lot of that this game, and that's when you start seeing a team that's in shape. They finish plays, they run down. They're not stopping. A lot of times I saw those guys just sitting back and watching the play. Offensive linemen are not supposed to watch the play. You're supposed to finish the play, finish around the ball. And when you see guys kind of, all right, looking where the ball is going, that means they're not all the way in shape to play a game also. So you just can't pick on the defense. You got to see what the offense is doing too. Even though they scored a lot of points, there was a lot of meat left on the bone. A lot of meat left on the bone.
Spoken like a true former offensive lineman in the league. Barrett Brooks in for Johnny Mack with me here today on Birds 365. First guest coming up next. He's one of our favorites. Does a great job covering the Eagles for NJ.com. Chris Franklin going to give us a couple minutes insight before he's got to get on a big old jet plane and come back here to Philadelphia. Chris Franklin joins us next on Birds 365.